actually do also is to create a pipeline form. Okay, so now that we have created the contact form, let us see how we can create the pipeline form in Zoho Bigin. So when you click on the plus form, new form here, instead of picking contact form, you are going to pick pipeline form. And when you click on create pipeline form, it's going to ask you to choose the pipeline you want to create this for. And you can pick whichever pipeline you have in your Zoho Bigin. As you can see, this is the customer support form we created, and this is the sales pipeline we just created. So you can pick whichever one you have, and when you pick that, you can be able to see all the fields that we have for deals. You can see the fields that we have for contacts, and you can see the fields that we have for complaints. So this means that if someone fill out this form, we are going to be creating the deal. At the same time, we are going to be creating the contact and the complaint. So instead of you manually creating the contact for each of the deals, the contact is going to be created and it's going to be associated with the deals. So now that we are here, we can start with contact. We want to ask for their first name, and we want to ask for the email. So we want to ask for the first name and want to ask for the last name. The last name is already here. And we want to ask for the due name and the closing date. So these are very compulsory in Zoho Begin. So instead of naming this as due name, we can name this something else. So we can say, tell us the name of your project. So instead of saying deal name, we can say something like tell us the name of your project, and this is going to allow them to be able to tell us the name of their project. And we can say, just to make sure that the characters of this name is not too long, since it's going to be a deal name, we can say the maximum character they can use is 30. So they need to name their project in 30 characters. So whether 30 words or whatever signs they want to use or character they want to use, it has to be 30 and a maximum of 30. So we can also decide I want to restrict numbers. So we do not want numbers in the name of this deal. We can also do that. We only want text. Tell us the name of your project is going to be syncing in with the deal name. And you can also decide to add in a help text here, and you can name this the example of what they're going to be saying. So for example, we can add in a help text here, and we can say, so we can add in an help text here or a help text, and this is going to help us to be able to let them know the kind of naming we want. So we can ask them to put something like automation mapping, or they can say maybe they want to do contact cleaning, whatever it is that they want to do, they can be able to fill that in. And for the closing dates, instead of asking this as a closing date, because most people do not know the meaning of closing dates, so let's save this first. And when we go into closing date and we click on the share button here, we can be able to edit the name of closing date. So instead of saying closing date, we can say, um, when would you like your project to be completed? So we can say when will you like your project to be completed, and it's going to be feeding in into the closing date. We can also decide that we do not want past date, because we our closing date is always a future date. So we can say we do not want past date, or you can even decide to allow all dates if you want. But I would advise, if you're using closing date, it should be a future date. So we can also select date range if you want. You can decide that you only want people to be able to fill in dates from this year. They cannot fill in dates from next year, or they cannot fill dates from the upper year. So you just want it to be this year. So you can restrict that to this year. So you can say that you only want them to fill in dates from 10th of December 2025 to maybe 10th of December 2026. So anything above that, no one will be able to put that date. So you can also set that. But the most important thing I want to do in this closing days is just to restrict past days. You can put in whatever dates you also want. So when you are done, you click on done, and when you click on done, that is going to be updated. We also have for contact, we can ask them for their mailing street, the mailing city. So instead of using mailing city, we can just say um city, street, and state. Let's ask for state. and let's ask for country. So we can decide to edit all of this and remove the mailing from the name and just leave it the way it is. So for mailing street, we can say something like your address. We can say something like your address, and we can decide to mark this as required field. And when you're done, you click on done. And for your city, you can also change that and remove um, mailing. If you have any contact custom field you want to add, you can also add that in here. So for instance, if you have all of this custom field that you have created, you can drop in whatever it is you want to use. So since we are asking them for their projects, we also need to ask them for the kind of CRM that they are using. So if they are using Zoho CRM, they should be able to type that in, and you can also edit this and change the name if you want. So when we go back to fields, we can also go to company and we can add in all of the company fields also. So we can ask for their company name, and let's put company name around here. And we can also ask for their websites if you want. You can ask for the number of employees if you want. And this is going to be feeding in into the company module. And for the contact, we've done that. So let's do for the deal. We already have the deal name and the closing date, but we can also ask for the amount. Instead of just asking for amounts, we can ask something like, what is your budget, or what budget are you working with? And this will allow them to be able to put in a an amount for the project. When you ask this, it is going to be feeding in into the begin field, which is amount. And when the deal is created, the amount is going to be set to this. So we can mark this as required if we want, and you can limit the value range. You can say that the lowest budget they should be $10,000, or the lowest budget they should have is $300,000, or whatever it is you want to use. And since we are only marking as required, we can leave that. And when you are done, you click on done. You can also decide to add in a start date, and the start date will be, you can say something like, when would you like to start your project? You can also add in all other custom fields that you have that you want to add to this form. So not to make this form too long, we just wanted to have the most important information for us to be able to qualify the deal, or yeah, for us to be able to qualify the deal. So we can just leave it this way, and when we are done, you can either preview this or you can make some adjusting here. So you can make some adjusting here by clicking on the font family, and you can change your font family to whatever font that is available here. You can also change your font size to whatever you want, and you can also align to the left, to the top. You can align to whatever it is you want to align, and you can decide to align to the right. You can decide to align to the center. I actually prefer the top one, so I'm just going to leave that. And for the tools, we can also see that we can add in privacy policy. So we can add this as you can write in something like allowing them to agree to your privacy policy and um, terms of service. And if you have your privacy policy documents, you can just link that in here. And when you click on this link, you can be able to add that link for this privacy policy. The same thing applies for terms of service. So when you're done, you just click on save. So I do not need that, so I just remove that. And for the file upload, we can also ask them to apply for, let me remove this. We can also decide them, you can also decide to allow them to upload a file. And when you drag in the file upload here, as you can see, they can be able to upload a file. So you can ask them for maybe the documentation of their project, or you can ask them to send the workflow mapping that they already have, or whatever it is you want to add. So we have Google Capture, we also have the normal capture, and this is going to allow you to be able to restrict bots from filling your form. So let's move into the design place where we can customize our background. When you click on this, you can be able to change the background of your form, and you can change it to whatever color it is you want. So you can also change this. You can also use You can also use an image, or you can use a custom color. So let's say the color you are using for your business is not here. All you need to do is just click on here and put in the color code, and when you click put in the color code, it's going to generate the color, and then you can click on apply. But if you are going to be using diagram, you can see the diagrams that they have in here, or you can just decide to download whatever diagram you want to use. So when you click on download, it is going to take you to your file, your computer file, and you can be able to upload that image into Zoho Begin. So you can pick their available images if you want also. So the next thing I want to do after adding all of this field is to add in a form title. So when we want to add this, we can name this contact form also, or you can name it whatever you want. And you can also add in a section title, where maybe you ask for payment details, then you ask for company details. You just need to like mark that section, the different section title, and you can add in the description if you want also. I do not need this. I'm going to take that off, and I'm just going to put in a random logo. And I can align my logo to the center, to the right. I can make it large if I want, and I can also, let me add in the background. Yep. Okay, so I can preview this to see how this form is going to look like, and when I click on preview this, you can just click on preview, and you can be able to see how your form is going to look like on desktop, on tablet, or on phone. You can also be able to cancel this and go back to the editor, and like I said, you can change your background here, and when you are done with all of this editing, you can then click on the next step. So the next step is going to take us to the form details, where we can be able to adjust the URL. You can be able to assign this to a particular contact. And since we have a contact form already, we're just going to name this um, contact form for project. So I'm going to name this. I'm going to name this contact form for project, and I'm assigning the owner, and I can notify the owner anytime there is a new lead through this form. And also I can decide to add in a sub pipeline if I want. So let me just add it to the sales pipeline, and it's going to be a and it's going to be the qualification stage, and we can add in a tag if we want. We can add in the tag as new deal, or you can add new contacts, whatever it is you want to add. You can enable double opt-in. You can also check for duplicates by manually approving them, or you can decide to merge any duplicates that is coming in. You can also decide to use a thank you message, or you can restrict them to a page. You can redirect them to a page, sorry. So when you add in a thank you message, you can say something like thank you for filling the form, and you can also decide to autofill a particular field when they are coming in. So for instance, if they are coming in, we can say that the contact should be autofilled, and we want the lead source for the contact to be a particular name. So we can name this whatever lead source we have. So I can say that the lead source is going to be our online store if I'm going to be putting this form in my online store on my website. I can also decide to update a deal field if I want, and update a contact field, and update a company field. So when you're done, you just click on done, and you can add in whatever field you want to update. So the next thing you want to do is you want to save and next, and when you click on save and next, it is going to take you to the next page. So your form has been created here, and as you can see, we can copy the link here, and we can send out this link to various people through our email. We can also embed it on our website through a button, and when you copy the link to this form in here and you take it to another page and we paste it, we should be able to see our form. So this is our form, and this is what people are going to see, where the link is leading to. Oh, I have this badge here. Okay. So I can turn off this so begin branding here. I don't want it over there, so I'm just going to turn this off. And I'm going to click on next step again, save and next. And also I can embed this form on my website by using the iframe or the source code or the JavaScript code. I have a comprehensive video here up here where you can be able to see how to embed a form, a Zoho form on your website. It's exactly the same process of how to go about this. And when you are done, also you can see the QR code. You can put in the QR code on your website where people can scan the code and it's going to lead to the form, or people can be able to scan it on your t-shirt or whatever it is you are using. And when you are done, you click on done and your pipeline form has been created. And now that we have the pipeline form created, we can also share the form from here. And when you click on this and share the form, it's going to take you to this page directly. And also you can be able to edit it by clicking on this edit button. You can also decide to copy the link, or you can share the form, or you can also decide to delete the form if you do not want the form. So that is everything we need to know about pipeline form. If you take a look at your Zoho Begin processes and you feel that there's something wrong, or there is a particular feature that you do not understand, or there is something that is going on but you cannot actually figure out what is wrong, we offer comprehensive audits for your Zoho Begin account. We are going to look at everything that is working and everything that is currently not working, and how we can help you fix all of those things that are currently not working in your Zoho Begin account. You can book your comprehensive audit in the link in the description. And also do not forget to like this video and also share to everyone you think might need this video, and also subscribe to this channel. Guys, we are currently at 94 subscribers, and that is quite low for the content we put out on this channel. So please do not forget to like this video and also share to everyone who you think need this video. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye.